Hiya, so I'm coming back to this today, the Sequential Take 5. It's such a cute little synth, I really love it. You get a lot of bang for your buck with it. And I came back to it recently because they did a firmware update whereby they doubled the amount of memory, which made me feel it's worth doing a proper sound set for it. So I've programmed 64 patches, which you can buy at my website, the link is below. This is patches for Take 5 owners, by the way, they're not samples because some people sometimes get confused. Patches for the synth. And I'm going to show you a few programming tips of what I found along the way, because this thing is surprisingly deep. You know, it's really underrated, I think. If you stop thinking about it as like it's a Prophet 5 or whatever, comparing it to those synths and just taking it for what it really is a smashing little thing, and you can come up with some very otherworldly sounds out of it. I've been quite impressed with it. Anyway, I'm going to show you a few programming tips now and then play you some sounds. Check it out. So for me, one of the great things about this synth is the mod matrix. It's really deep and very intuitive, and if you use your imagination you can do loads of very interesting stuff with it. I love the fact that the oscillator is continuously variable and that's modulatable. You can go into the matrix and then you can select, let's say, voice spread, and now it's going to step through the 5 voices, and then you can set it to change the waveform. So if you arpeggiate that, straight away you get something really interesting. Let's put a delay on that, sync it up. Bit of mod. Alternatively, you can use that shaping in other ways, like you can, let's say, use the mod wheel to do that. Then when you combine that with other things, for instance, I love bringing in reverb with these modulations. So let's have reverb coming in at the same time. You know, there's so much you can do with that. When you start stacking them on, you get some really kind of cool stuff. Okay, let's do something else with the mod wheel as well. Put it up an octave, maybe. Another thing I really love is the fact that you can use envelope 2 to control both the amplitude and the filter if you want, which frees up envelope 1 for assignable modulations. That is another very cool feature. So now let's, because at the moment we're not doing anything with the filter, so let's assign both the filter and the amp to envelope 2, and now I'm going to use envelope 1 to make the sound go into stereo. And how I do that, I go into the matrix, select voice spread, let's do it all the way, and that's going to now modulate the pan. But actually I want this on 0, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger this now. So this is mod 13, so what I do is I go to another source and I'm going to make envelope 1 make modulation 13 happen, right? And I'm going to slow down the attack on the envelope. Another super cool thing about this is you can delay the envelopes. So I'm going to delay envelope 1. So it's going to take a little while for that stereo spread to happen. So you're going to get this. So you can hear now, you can shape that, can go to stereo and back to mono, whatever you want to do. Let's have envelope 1 do something else as well. Let's assign it to LFO 1, and then let's assign LFO 1 to somewhere. So now, when envelope 1 triggers, it'll go stereo and you'll get vibrato. There's so much you can do with this, and you just go on and on. You know, I'm not using aftertouch yet, so let's bring a bit of aftertouch in there. And I'll get that to change shape of oscillator 2. So I'll get that to bring in maybe delay this time as well. Just gets epic real quick, and it's great how you can also drop this low octave with the low split here. So even though I've got a small keyboard, I can get this kind of I'm also finding that I'm using vintage mode less and less now on this keyboard. That's not because I don't like vintage mode, it's just that you can make it more bespoke with the mod Matrix. You can choose the things you want it to do, because when you switch on the vintage mode, it's going to do what it's been pre-programmed to do, you know, loosen up the envelopes, detune the notes a bit. But you can actually just choose exactly what you want it to do, you know, because I often don't want the envelopes loosened up that much, really. I prefer having a little bit of detune, and I like to be able to choose. But you can easily do that in here, because you just go source assign, and let's say you want to detune. I'd usually do like random, just put it to random, and then all of the oscillators, choose the amount you want. A bit extreme. Let's have just a tiny touch of it. Now, you could do it like that, or you could do it with voice spread. Let me do an init patch. I might keep that patch, it's not bad. Save it. As I said, the mod matrix is really comprehensive, and it's great that you can modulate the effects section as well. For instance, if I'm using LFO 1, for instance, to do the cutoff, I can also get it to do the verb. So I just put LFO 1 into reverb mix. As it opens the filter, it'll give us verb as well. It's cool also that you can synchronize all of these things. So I can put a delay at a different time. If you go into program, there's quite a few extra features, like you can adjust how the filter tracks with the keyboard. And also included with the recent update is LFO slew, which affects the shape of the each waveform. Now let's put LFO2 with a bit of wobble for everything, and I'm gonna make it track the keyboard, which I can do easily here by pressing note number to LFO2 frequency. Again, let's add a bit of our own personalized vintage mode. It's quite cool to have this random thing, I think, because that's kind of what it is in a vintage synth. It's quite random. You just don't want to put too much of it because it gets a bit carried away. It's got real flavour. Another cool feature is that the pitch bend wheel doesn't have to be just for pitch bend. If you turn the bend off, let's say when it's going up, you can still have it going down, but not going up, which is great, really flexible. And so let's have, when it goes up, what happens? Take your pick. Maybe we get feedback on the delay. That's not bad, but let's have it do something else as well. I'd say more reverb. You can never have too much reverb in my world. Lots and lots of fun. I love it. All right, I'm going to show you a few of my sounds now.